everyone. Today I am going to start with the topic coenzymes. Coenzymes are substance that enhance the action or the activity of the enzymes. Coenzymes are the small molecules. They cannot themselves catalyze the reaction, but they can help the enzyme to do so. If you remember the first lecture of this unit, enzyme, so the enzymes are having a cofactors, right? The enzyme, they have a cofactors. The cofactors may be activated if there is an inorganic part, they are called as a cofactor, but when there is an organic part is attached to a non-protein organic part is attached to an enzyme, that it is called as a coenzyme, right. So, the enzyme protein part and the another is non-protein part. The non-protein part, if it is inorganic, then it is called as activator or cofactor. When it is an organic part, then it is called as coenzyme. The coenzyme खुद से catalytic reaction नहीं करते हैं, खुद से कोई भी catalysis process नहीं करते हैं, but they help the enzyme to do so. In the technical term, the coenzyme are the organic non-protein molecule that bind with the protein molecules or the apoenzyme to form the active enzyme, or we can say the holoenzyme. A number of water soluble vitamins such as vitamin B1, B2, B6 serve as a coenzymes. Now we will see one by one. The first one I am taking here as a coenzyme, that is TPP, that is thiamine pyrophosphate. The thiamine pyrophosphate, here you can see the structure of thiamine pyrophosphate. The thiamine pyrophosphate is known as vitamin B1. It involves, क्या काम करता है? It involves the transfer of aldehyde group CHO, CH group में CH एल्डिहाइड ग्रुप के ट्रांसफ़र का काम करेगा। ये जहाँ पर भी जिस भी रिएक्शन में ये काम करेगा वहाँ पर एल्डिहाइड ग्रुप को ट्रांसफ़र करने का काम करेगा, लाइक एसिटाल्डिहाइड एंड ग्लिसरॉल एल्डिहाइड. द thiazole group, here this thiazole group, the thiazole group of the coenzyme molecule accept the aldehyde group and transfer it to an acceptor via other coenzyme like lipoic acid and coenzyme A, right. So what it does the transfer, जहाँ पर भी ये थाइमीन होगा, विटामिन B1 काम करेगा एज एन को एंजाइम या TPP काम करेगा एज एन को एंजाइम, दे विल डू द ट्रांसफर ऑफ द एल्डिहाइडिक ग्रुप. एंड कहाँ से करेगा? बाय द हेल्प ऑफ बाय दिस thiazole ring. The coenzyme molecule will accept the aldehyde group and transfer it to the another acceptor via other coenzyme जैसे कि lipoic acid या coenzyme A के presence में. Here the acetaldehyde added to a TPP thiazole ring to produce the active aldehyde. The TPP is involved in oxidative decarboxylation of the pyruvic acid and alpha keto acid. Other example of the enzyme complex involving the TPP is lipoic acid and coenzyme A in the pyruvate decarboxylase. Here the pyruvic acid TPP enzyme, hydroxymethyl TPP, lipoic acid enzyme, it will convert it into a acetyl lipoic acid, and then coenzyme A and lipoic acid reduce करता है and it is converted into a acyl coenzyme A. So what it does the transfer of the aldehydic group. Now what is the deficiency? When there is a deficiency of thiamine, it causes beriberi disease. The beriberi disease are two type, dry beriberi disease and wet beriberi disease. ड्राई बेरी डिजीज जो होगी अफेक्ट करेगी पेरिफेरल नर्वस सिस्टम को, एंड वेयर इज द वेट बेरी अफेक्ट द हार्ट एंड द सर्कुलेटरी सिस्टम एंड हार्ट को अफेक्ट करेगी. क्या इसके सिम्टम्स हैं? पुअर ये क्यों हो जाता है? ड्यू टू द पुअर डाइट और अल्कोहलिज्म की वजह से. माल न्यूट्रिशन इज द वन ऑफ द रीजन ऑफ दिस बेरी एंड डिफिशियंसी ऑफ द थाइमीन. Loss of appetite, weakness, pain in the limbs, you can see limbs कैसे पतले हो चुके हैं. बहुत ज़्यादा, एंड द स्वेलिंग, शॉर्टनेस ऑफ ब्रीथिंग, स्वेलिंग एट द लिम्स, लोअर लिम्स में, लेग्स में स्वेलिंग हो जाए, दीज आर द सिम्टम्स ऑफ द थायमीन डिफिशियंसी, और वी कैन से बेरी हियर ऑल्सो, जहां पर confusion, coma, and sometimes it is caused to a death also when it is a deficiency of thiamine. The next one is Flavin mononucleotide or Flavin adenine dinucleotide, FMA and FAD. The Flavin mononucleotide is represented as FMA and Flavin adenine dinucleotide is known as FAD. They commonly called as flavoprotein. The coenzyme of vitamin B, riboflavin B12. The hydrogen transferring coenzyme associate with the hydrogenase. Riboflavin, the hydrogen transferring coenzymes associated with the hydrogenase. On reduction of FAD by addition of 2 hydrogen atom donated by the substrate, and it is converted to the FADH2, right. On reduction, what will happen? On the reduction of FAD by addition of 2 hydrogen, then the substrate will donate, which will be donated by the substrate, and it will be converted into FAD, जो है FADH2 में convert हो जाएगा by accepting the hydrogen molecule which will be donated by the substrate. The substrate is thereby oxidized. For an example of FAD containing enzyme is succinate dehydrogenase. Succinate dehydrogenase occurring in the Krebs cycle. Succinic acid is oxidized to form fumaric acid by the enzyme succinate dehydrogenase. The hydrogen accepted by the FAD is transferred to the electron transport chain for the generation of ATP, right. What is doing? The succinate dehydrogenase क्या करता है? It help in the oxidation of succinic acid to the fumaric acid, where the hydrogen accepted by the FAD is transferred to the electron transport chain for the generation of ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. Now deficiency of riboflavin, अगर राइबोफ्लेविन की डिफिशियंसी हो जाए तो क्या होता है? तो सबसे बड़ा डिजीज़, जो सबसे बड़ा रीज़न प्रॉब्लम अराइज होती है आफ्टर द डिफिशियंसी ऑफ राइबोफ्लेविन, दैट इज angular cirrhosis. The angular cirrhosis, as you can see, it is the crack or and the redness of the lips. ठीक है, जो माउथ के साइड्स हैं, both the sides of the mouth get be inflamed, cracks पड़ जाते हैं, फट जाते हैं, और sometime it cause a bleeding too. The inflammation of the linings of the mouth and the tongue. It also caused the deficiency of the riboflavin also cause the mouth ulcers. मुंह के अंदर छोटे छोटे दाने हो जाते हैं, and it causes the painful ulcers, and sore throat is also a sore throat is also there when there is a deficiency of a riboflavin. The main is the angular cirrhosis, the crack and the redness of the lips. The next coenzyme is NAD or NADP, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, or NADP, that is nicotinamide dinucleotide phosphate, are the derivative of B vitamin nucleic acid. These are the derivative of nicotinic acid. NAD is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide and NADP is nucleotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, and the both are the derivative of vitamin B, that is nicotinic acid. NAD and NADP act as a coenzyme for many dehydrogenase enzymes such as lactic dehydrogenase, LDH, alcohol dehydrogenase, malate dehydrogenase, glycerin aldehyde phosphate dehydrogenase and many more. जितने भी आपको dehydrogenase वाले enzymes मिलेंगे वहाँ पर NAD and NADP will be act as an coenzyme to increase the activity of these dehydrogenase enzymes. When they are involved, where they are involved in the transfer of hydrogen, causing either the oxidation or the reduction of the substrate. जहाँ पर भी ये आपको डिहाइड्रोजिनेज मिलेगा वहाँ पर NAD और NADPH एज एन कोएंजाइम वर्क करेंगे एंड दे विल इन्वॉल्व इन द ट्रांसफर ऑफ हाइड्रोजन either by the oxidation or by the reduction of the substrate. Lactic acid example देखते हैं. Lactic acid is oxidized to the pyruvic acid where NADH act as an hydrogen acceptor. In the other reaction, aldehyde is reduced to ethanol where NAD act as an hydrogen donor. NADH2 is acting as an hydrogen donor. जैसी requirement होगी वैसा वो काम करेगा. Right? The lactic acid is, यहाँ पर you can see the lactic acid is oxidized to a pyruvic acid and which act where NAD act as an hydrogen acceptor. In this another one you can see that is acting as an ethanol. Aldehyde is converted into a ethanol and it is a hydrogen donor. Although the reduced form of NAD and NADP are usually shown as NADH2 and NADPH2 for the convenience, it should be noted that the correct form should be NAD plus H plus and NADPH plus H plus की तरह लिखा जाना चाहिए. ठीक है, अपनी कन्वीनियंट के अकॉर्डिंग हम लोग NADH2 लिख देते हैं बट इसको लिखा जाना चाहिए NADPH2 एंड NADPH2 इस तरीके से. और जो करेक्ट फॉर्म है NADH को लिखने का वो है NADH प्लस H प्लस की तरह लिखेंगे और NADPH को H2 को हम NADPH प्लस H प्लस आइंस के थ्रू रिप्रेजेंट करेंगे कुछ इस तरीके से. NAD and NADP were previously called as DPN, that is diphosphopiridine nucleotide, and TPN, triphosphopiridine nucleotide respectively. पहले इनको कहा जाता था इस तरीके से. Now it is called as NAD and NADP. For example, एक एग्जाम्पल यहाँ पर और मैंने दिखाया हुआ है जैसे आइसोसिट्रिक एसिड in the presence of isocitrate dehydrogenase, ये भी citric acid की साइकिल है and it is here NADPH is converted into NADPH2 and it is converted into oxalosuccinic acid. एक और एग्जाम्पल है जहाँ पर NADPH2 is converted into a NADP. ठीक, glutamate dehydrogenase alpha glutaric acid, it is converted into a glutamic acid. Now deficiency of niacin or vitamin B is called vitamin B, that is nicotinic acid की अगर deficiency होती है तो कौन सी disease हो जाती है, that is called as pellagra. Pellagra, you can see here the patches और इस तरीके से आपको दिख रहा है pellagra. Scaly skin sores, बहुत ज़्यादा स्किन्स में डर्मिटाइटिस टाइप हो जाता है, सॉर्स हो जाते हैं, घाव होने लगते हैं स्किन के ऊपर और चिंगसी होने लगती है. ये आपको पैचेस दिख रहे होंगे ना, स्केली स्किन, especially when they are, and these are especially when they are exposed to the sun rays or UV rays. Inflamed mucous membrane and they have abdominal pain also in the pellagra disease. Basically there is a sclery skin sores and especially when they are exposed to the sun rays. Then next coenzyme is pyridoxal phosphate, that is PAL. Pyridoxal phosphate has a simple molecule containing a B vitamin pyridoxine, that is B6. The coenzyme associated with the transaminase which catalyze the transfer of amino group from amino acid to the keto acid. What it does? It is associated with the transaminase reaction. Transaminase process अमाइनेज एंजाइम के साथ इन्वॉल्व होगी, जहाँ पर ये कैटालाइज करेगा ट्रांसफ़र ऑफ अमीनो ग्रुप इनटू अमीनो ट्रांसफ़र करेगा अमीनो ग्रुप को कहाँ से, अमीनो एसिड से कीटो एसिड की तरफ. इट इज ट्रांसफर, in this transfer the PAL act as the acceptor of amino group and it converted to the pyroxamine phosphate, that is PAM. PAM can react with a keto acid to produce an amino acid. The PAL and PAM remain bonded to the protein part of the transaminase enzyme during these transfer of the amino group. So, what is happening in this transfer process, the PAL act as a acceptor of the amino group and it converted into a pyridoxal phosphate, that is PAM. The PAM जो है act करेगा react on the keto acid to the keto acid to produce a amino acid. PAM will react with the keto acid and it will produce amino acid. दोनों PAL और PAM bounded रहेंगे protein part के साथ during the protein part के साथ in the transaminase during this transfer process of the amino group. For an example, alpha aniline plus glutamate transferase, aniline प्लस अल्फा क्यूटोग्लूटेरिक एसिड, यहाँ पर अल्फा एनालिन या फिर ग्लूटामिन ट्रांसफरेट एक्ट करेगा एंड इट विल कन्वर्टेड इनटू पायरुविक एसिड एंड ग्लूटामिक एसिड. नाउ व्हाट इज द डिफिशियंसी ऑफ दिस? pyridoxine deficiency, and pyridoxine deficiency will cause cheilosis and glytosis. Glytosis, infection of the tongue, or we can say throat, or swollen or inflamed throat or tongue. And cheilosis similarly, जैसे पिछले में हमने देखा क्या हो रहा था, साइड में माउथ में लिप्स पे साइड पे redness and dryness of the skin was there, itching was there, sometime इतना ज़्यादा फट जाता है स्किन की ब्लीडिंग होने लगती है, that is cheilosis. In this deficiency also pyridoxis की deficiencies में cheilosis and glytosis हो सकती है. The next one is coenzyme A. Coenzyme A is complex structure containing a adenosine triphosphate, a pantothenic acid which is a B vitamin and cysteine. The coenzyme involved in the transfer of acyl group. The coenzyme A, it will involve in the transfer of acyl group. The sulfidyl group, SH group of the cysteine moiety of this coenzyme form a thioester with the carboxylic group of the acetyl compound. The sulfidyl group, this sulfhydryl थोड़ा सा बड़ा स्ट्रक्चर है कोएंजाइम का. The coenzyme is made up of adenosine triphosphate. This is adenosine triphosphate and this is the pantothenic acid which is a vitamin B and this is the cysteine unit. तो cysteine unit की SH ग्रुप जो है, लास्ट वाला SH ग्रुप जो टर्मिनल है मोइटी कोएंजाइम जो फॉर्म करता है थायोएस्टर विद द कार्बोक्सिलिक ग्रुप ऑफ द एसाइल कंपाउंड, जो भी एसाइल कंपाउंड होगा उसके साथ मिलकर ये ऐड करेगा. So, the thioester group of the cysteine moiety of this coenzyme forms a thioester with the carbonyl group of the acetyl coenzyme. Such as acetic acid to produce acetyl coenzyme, which is one of the most important coenzyme A derivatives. The thioester bond is energy rich and it can easily transfer the acetyl group to an acceptor. The deficiency will affect the nervous system and the digestive system. बहुत सारे एंजाइम्स इफेक्ट हो जाएंगे जिसकी वजह से नर्वस एंड एंजाइमेटिक सिस्टम दोनों ही इफेक्ट होंगे. The next coenzyme I am taking, that is biotin. The biotin is also called as anti-egg white injury factor, protect against the toxicity of the raw egg white. Structurally, biotin is a cyclic derivative of the urea. It is the cyclic derivative of the urea fused with the thiopinene. This is thiopinene. It is fused urea. The urea ring, when it is fused with the thiopinene ring, it is form a biotin. In such reaction, biotin act as a carrier of the carbon dioxide when the biotin is bounded to the enzyme involved in the carboxylation reaction. ठीक, when the biotin is bound to the enzyme involved in the carboxylation reaction, the biotin act as a carrier of a carbon dioxide. For an example, the pyruvate carboxylase, which add the carbon dioxide molecule to the pyruvic acid forming the oxalic acid. The pyruvic acid is converting into a oxalic acid where the biotin enzyme bonded the CO2 here. ठीक, where the pyruvic acid is converting into a oxalic acid, oxaloacetic acid. The deficiency of biotin causes the mild dermatitis, loss of appetite, muscular pain and anemia. The deficiency will cause anemia, muscular pain, loss of appetite, भूख नहीं लगेगी and mild dermatitis, skin की problem. The next one is lipoic acid. The lipoic acid is sulfur containing fatty acid, also called as thiourea acid. It undergoes the reversible oxidation and reduction process. It reduces DHLA, act as an acceptor of the activated acyl group. The lipoic acid molecule the lipoic acid mediate the transfer of electron and activate acyl group. Lipoic acid molecule mediates the transfer of electron and it activates the acyl group, which released after the decarboxylation and oxidation of the alpha keto acid. It is used as a coenzyme with the several other coenzymes just like TPP, NAD plus, FAD and coenzyme in the oxidative decarboxylation. ऐसे ये काम ही करते हैं, बहुत ही इस तरीके से काम नहीं करते, but it will be together with the another coenzyme it will be participate. It is used as a coenzyme with the other coenzyme as TPP, NAD, FAD and coenzyme A in the oxidative carboxylation. The next one is tetrahydrofolic acid. It is called as THA and it is a coenzyme for the folic acid. It is also called as petroglutamic acid. It is formed from folate by enzyme dihydrofolate reductase. It is formed by the enzyme dihydrofolate reductase in two-step process. That is folate, it is converted into dihydrofolate and then it is converted into a tetrahydrofolate. The TF is the coenzyme for the folic acid. Involve the transfer of one carbon fragments like formyl, methyl and methylene group. For an example, conversion of a homocysteine to the methionine. The methyl group of the methionine is added for methyl THF tetrahydrofolate. Another THF mediated reaction is conversion of serine to the glycine, where the hydroxymethyl group of the serine is removed by the TFF. You can see here the serine is here, the hydroxyl group of here, hydroxymethyl group is removed from the serine by the serine hydroxymethylase, where THF is converted into a hydroxymethyl THF. The deficiency of folic acid causes the macrolytic megablastic anemia. Macrolytic anemia means this is a type of anemia that cause usually large RBCs. RBCs का size increase हो जाता है, that is called a macrolytic, or we can say megaloblastic anemia. Next one is cobalamin, that is vitamin B12. It is a cobalt containing complex molecule. Cobalamin act as a coenzyme for the enzymes catalyzing intramolecular transfer of the carboxylic group, carboxyl group, not carboxylic, it is carboxyl group. An important reaction of this type is the conversion of methyl manonyl coenzyme A to the succinyl coenzyme A. Methyl manonyl coenzyme A is converting into a succinyl coenzyme A, where it is catalyzing the intramolecular transfer of the carbonyl group. The deficiency, this deficiency caused a pernicious anemia, where pernicious anemia, this anemia is the unhealthy RBCs, the number of RBCs decrease in this anemia. This was all about the coenzyme. Hope you understand this lecture. Thank you.